I am going to share some really deep esoteric information about fourth dimensional experience and fifth dimensional transformation. And I'm going to share it freely, but I do ask you for one thing. I ask you to use this information for the good of other people, to help other people. Of course, you will get tremendous benefit from this information. You'll have better health. Your relationships will be better. You'll be more balanced. You'll feel everything will feel fantastic. But you're not really doing this for you. You're doing this to create a template, a ladder that other people can follow. So, right now, we're going to do a fourth dimensional ascension meditation. And before I do that, I want to let you know that the fourth dimension is available to anyone. You already operate in certain respects in fourth dimension. You already operate in certain respects in fifth dimension. You're simply not aware of it. You are a third dimensional being, a fourth dimensional being, a fifth dimensional being. And when we figure out six, seven, eight, and nine, you're that also. Your consciousness is like an elevator. You press whatever button you want. You're not limited to living in three dimensions, although all the people that are giving us advice as to how to live our lives are in three dimensions. So we get three-dimensional advice, and we end up trapped in all these three-dimensional structures because we've never understood the fourth dimensions. We're going to rise to the fourth dimension. So I want you to close your eyes. I want you to imagine that you're in a car, driving a car. You're on a really busy highway. Everyone's going 70 miles an hour. You're going 70 miles an hour. There's people going the other direction, 70 miles an hour. Busy highway, 3 lanes in both directions. And I want you to start to slow down. So take your foot off the gas a little bit, and now I want you to go 50 miles an hour. And notice that the people next to you are starting to go faster. You look over and you see them moving faster than you, but keep slowing down to 40, down to 20 miles an hour. The people are literally blowing by you now, but keep slowing down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, full stop. And when you look out the window, now the traffic is a blur. They're blurring past you. Where are they going? What's the big rush? Where are they going? Where were you going before you started to slow down? I want you to imagine now that your car, don't get frightened. If this frightens you, please don't be frightened. Imagine that your car now elevates off the highway and you go a couple of 100 feet above and you look down and you just see this blur of traffic in all directions. But you're not in that traffic anymore. And you rise above and you get to the point where you're now in the clouds. It's dark, a little bit gloomy. Can't really see anything out any of your windows. You're in the clouds, but your car keeps rising. And now you pop out above the clouds. Blue sky in all directions, bright sun above your head, 360 degrees, nobody else there, unlimited horizons. And you look down on the people and they're still going. Where are they going? What are they rushing towards? Now, the clouds that you just went through, the analogy is that is mind. The three-dimensional world is governed by mind, subconscious mind. You now are above mind. You control the thoughts that you put into your mind next. You decide what you spend your time on, what you think about. You are above mind. You're a sovereign being of light. You are above mind. This is important. I want you to look down at yourself sitting in a chair. And I want you to notice one really important thing about you right now. Your body will not move, has no mind of its own, doesn't have its own agenda. The only way that body will move is if you tell it to move, or if you lose this awareness, this consciousness, then of course it'll start moving again. But your body has no mind of its own. In truth, in the fourth dimension, which you are now, your body is an avatar. You are a being of light plugged into a three-dimensional body. In a near-death experience, I assume all of you have watched all those near-death experience videos. You notice that people, they rise above their body, they see what's going on, then they boop, they go into a tunnel, whoop, and when they pop out, blue sky, endless light, endless. This is the fourth dimension. You are endless. You are above time. If you look to the left in your mind's eye, you can see from the beginning of your life until now, you can see all the threads that have gone into making you who you are. Your society, your education, your family, your successes, your failures. All of that has gone into making you who you are, and you now see that it's like a thread or a cable, and now you see the now moment. And you see there are infinite possibilities from this moment forward. Now, if you don't make any changes to your life, if that avatar just keeps operating on autopilot, going through its day like it always does, your life stream is going to continue exactly as it has always been. It'll just, tomorrow is going to be just like today. Next year is going to be just like this year. If you don't make changes, your life stream will never change. But in the fourth dimension, you can sprinkle seeds that will grow over time. And if you sprinkle the right seeds, health, balance, improving your relationships, unpacking your subconscious, doing the inner work, if you sprinkle the right seeds, you'll notice that your life stream can go on a new trajectory. And you'll notice that when you sprinkle these seeds, you don't change immediately. They take time to take root, nurture, and grow. And so the most important aspect of the fourth dimension is that you are above time. You notice in the fourth dimension that the universe operates on longer rhythms and cycles. The people down there in the traffic, they're not working with the rhythm of the universe. They're trying to beat time, or I don't know what they're trying to do. They're just working full speed ahead toward what end? You see that the universe operates in rhythms and cycles. And in the fourth dimension, you can start to use time to your advantage. Start to work with the rhythms of the universe. That's where your power is. Not to work against universal principles, but to work with them. So when you plant seeds, you're not expecting it to grow by 3 o'clock. You're nurturing these seeds so that a week from now, 3 weeks from now, 3 months from now, a year from now, all of the seeds you're planting will start to pay off. And your reality a year from now, when you look back at what you are today, will be totally different. You will be a different person, healthier, happier, more successful, more abundant, ascended. Now, here's the thing about the fourth dimension. In the fourth dimension, what you're doing is you're projecting your consciousness back onto the third dimension. And you're looking at things there. And a couple of things I want you to notice. Number one, don't spend any energy on changing or fixing anything except yourself. That's the only thing that you're in control of. So your entire focus in the fourth dimension is how to make that little avatar down there a better human being. How to instill new habits, new ideas, new thought paradigms, new ways of thinking, ways of being, new ways of being in relationships, new ways of your health, new ways of parenting. That's the person you're going to fix. That's what you're going to work on. So in the fourth dimension, we're going to project down into 3D and make ourselves better humans. I hope that makes sense. So I told you there are 3 things that you're going to do in the fourth dimension that will improve your life in the third dimension. Number 1 is you're going to very clearly establish your character, values, and principles. In the fourth dimension is where you will establish who you are in this world and how you want to go in this world. That book that I put up earlier, The Cycle of Mind, that's what that's about. Choosing your own character, values, and principles. Now, why can't you do that in the third dimension? Well, you can, but the third dimension is not built on truth. It's always changing. It's like Maya, the illusion. It's like a kaleidoscope. It never stands still. So you can establish your values, but the third dimension will bend those values because you have to figure out how to navigate. So you're not always clear on your values in the third dimension. In the fourth dimension, they're rock solid. They never change. Gratitude, being thoughtful, being generous, being healthy, making good decisions. I call it right action, serving other people, helping other people, lifting them up. These are the values you're going to establish in the fourth dimension. And what you're going to find yourself doing if you do this work over a period of time, you'll find your little avatar is going to say, hey, wait a minute, I should be generous. And all of a sudden in the third dimension, you're going to want to do those things. So number one is to establish your values. Number two is to develop a plan. You have all the power of the universe available to you, is flowing through you. Source, light, energy is all flowing through you without obstruction. But if you don't have a plan, you're never going to be able to focus that power. You've got to identify a plan for your health, for your family and relationships. If you're a parent, your parenting plan, financial plan. If you don't have a plan, then all this source power that you have now doesn't ever get directed to anything. You'll notice in the fourth dimension, that sun above you, that's the fifth dimension. That's the dimension of light. All that light is coming to you. All that energy, all that power. You are source. But here's the amazing thing. That doesn't seem to do you any good in the third dimension because you're so limited and obstructed in the third dimension that even though it's just words, yes, I'm a manifestation of source, but you don't really feel it flowing through you. In the fourth dimension, all that stuff down there is gone. And you can open yourself to the full power of source, the full light, the full energy, all flowing through you. But I'm going to show you a way to develop a plan so that you can focus all of that infinite power of source onto very specific aspects of your life. And I want you to look around in the fourth dimension, endless in all 360 degrees. Who's going to stop your plan? Nobody is playing defense. Whatever you decide about your health, about your moral character, about what you're going to do tomorrow, about your relationships, anything, whatever you decide, no one is playing defense. You can score a touchdown on every play and then get the ball back and score another touchdown. Nobody is stopping you on the fourth dimension because this is your power. This is who you really are. So number one is character, values, and principles. Number two is planning. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. And number three is patience. Understanding that the universe operates in its own rhythms and cycles. And the more you try to create your own, to fight against that natural flow, the more of your power you're giving away. You want to learn to work with time, to learn to work with the universal rhythms and cycles. That's your power. You're going to plant seeds now and then watch the universe take them in its own time, in its own way. So just rising to this fourth dimension, just having the experience is great. But boop, as soon as you X out of this Zoom, you're going to drop right back down into 3D. You've got to have a plan to hold on to. You've got to have character, values, and principles that you're keeping in your mind. If you don't have these thought matrices, if you don't have these plans written down, when you go back to 3D, you're just back into it. But if you have these plans, if you have character, values, and principles that you want to live by, if you're inculcating those into your mind, into your subconscious, then you can start to weave these things into your three-dimensional life. So you're no longer purely three-dimensional. Now you're three plus because you're starting to take these fourth dimensional principles and activate them in your life. And when you look down at your life stream, I want you to understand the difference between the fourth dimension and the third dimension. And as I said, anybody can go to the fourth dimension. You're in it. There's no requirement. You don't have to be a spiritual person. You don't have to be healthy. You don't have to be anything. You just have to be able to shift your thinking. Boop. Now you're looking down on your life. I want you to look at your life stream from the beginning of your life to now, this now moment. Of course, if you're a Tibetan Buddhist, you can look back 1,000 lifetimes. But we're just going to look back to our own lifetime, and we're going to see how everything has made us the way we are. In the fourth dimension, you're looking down on the now moment, and you see how you can plant seeds to change your life stream. If you shift to three-dimensional understanding, now you're in that life stream, you're in that little cable, and life is coming at you full speed ahead. This is the importance of rising to the fourth dimension, where you can plan, establish your values, establish a more patient approach to life. That's the value of the fourth dimension. You're still projecting your consciousness onto your three-dimensional self, but you're using the powers that you have in the fourth dimension to transform your three-dimensional life. As long as you're in three dimensions, the universe is just coming at you. And it never stops coming at you. It's just, and you end up reacting. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to align yourself as you live in three dimensions. You're trying to align yourself with systems that are off balance, that are imaginary, arbitrary. You're trying to align yourself with a financial system or an education system or a marital system or all these customs and mantras that we have in the third dimension. And you're spending all your time trying to figure all that out, as opposed to the fourth dimension, where you can establish your own agenda. You can establish your own vision of the future. Totally different. But the key is to establish, to anchor your character, values, and principles, and to establish a few solid plans, not just plans for things that aren't important, like, my kid's birthday party. Yeah, okay. I'm talking about plans that are important to you, your health, your relationships, finding peace, inner peace, finding balance. Those are the types of plans I'm talking about. A financial plan that, instead of, I don't know what to do with my money, opposite. Now you're thinking long term, and you can start to use the powers of compounding, and you can start to really bring the power of time into your being. So the cool thing about the fourth dimension is, yes, you're projecting your consciousness down into the third dimension. You're using all of these powers, because if you don't plan and you don't write anything down, then when you go back to the third dimension, you just had that good experience. If you write things down, now you can bring that into your third dimensional experience. So you're looking down, but in the fourth dimension, you also have the ability to create a plan to move up to the fifth dimension. So now let me tell you a little bit about the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is totally different. It is a separate, like a snake shedding its skin. It's separate than the third dimension. The third dimension completely fades away, and your new reality begins to be in the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is not a mindset shift. Well, it is a mindset shift, but it's more than that. You have to bring your body along for the journey to the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension requires that you clear out all the negative energy, all the negative emotion, that you take your life stream and all the whatever trauma and all that stuff you're attached to and all those, low energy, negative subconscious beliefs, and just erase them. Wipe them out. They don't exist anymore. The universe is giving you a do-over. And the fifth dimension, it's a shift in perspective, but it's also a bodily ascension. You have to learn how to raise your inner vibratory rate. That involves getting healthier in several different ways. You have to clear out the negative emotion, the trauma, any of the anchors that keep forcing you to look backwards. You have to eliminate all of that and keep your mind forward. And as your body raises in vibratory rate, number one, you feel much healthier. Number two, your energy flow is going to start to go really ramp up until it gets off the charts, and then it'll just keep getting better and better and better. But number three, the more you clear out, the more light you can anchor in your physical body. All of us have this little tiny little bit of light in our body. That's why we're alive. This light is anchored in our body. In the fifth dimension, in the journey to the fifth dimension, it's clearing space, removing all these old paradigms and removing trying to fix people and trying to make the third dimension. You completely let go of that and instead try to anchor more light in your body because the fifth dimension is a dimension of light. So there are three aspects if you want to experience the fifth dimension. Many people already exhibit some of these aspects. So a lot of people are already exhibiting fifth dimensional characteristics. They simply don't know. They don't know that they're doing it. They don't know what they're doing, but they are doing it. Number one, the first aspect of fifth dimensional experience is balance. If you're not balanced, you'll never experience the fifth dimension. Never going to happen. So, how do you get yourself in balance? That's the point of the planning. That's the point of the 4D planning. You've got to get yourself on a new autopilot because you're going to operate on autopilot no matter what. That's the way our bodies work. We're controlled by the subconscious. So in the fourth dimension, you can start to bring your health into balance, bring your personality into balance, bring your energy into balance, bring your relationships into balance, bring your finances into balance, get everything into balance, and then develop over the course of 3 or 4 months, develop entirely new habits that now have you on autopilot still, but in a much more balanced way, in a much more intentional way. So number one is you've got to bring your life into balance. If you don't, nothing else matters. There's no fifth dimensional, as the soup Nazi, no 5D for you. If you're not balanced, no 5D for you. You've got to be on the path. And balance isn't like flipping a switch. I'm not out of balance today, tomorrow I'm in balance. It doesn't work that way. It's a slow journey of getting your life more and more and more in balance. Oops, I had a really unbalanced day today. Oh, that's okay, because I'm going to work on my balance again tomorrow. Balance is a never-ending journey. You never are finished. That's important. The second aspect of 5D experience, again, which many people already are exhibiting, is a heart-centered approach. I am the poster child for a mind-centered approach. I got to think about everything. And it's not just me, and it's not just men. A lot of women are the same way. We're mind-centered. We have to think. We have to analyze. Everything's got to be lined up. We have to control everything. Everything's got to be explained. I have to convince people, like, I have to explain it. I got to write books. Everything is mind-centered. Fifth dimension is totally different. And for me personally, this is the most difficult shift. And again, it's not like flipping a switch. It's a process that you slowly become more heart-centered. Heart-centered is the opposite. Turn off your voice. Shh. And just receive the energies, receive the emotions, receive things, accept what's going on instead of trying to fix, instead of trying to be different, instead of trying to say, well, for me, it's not going to work because I'm very mind-centered and, I know that'll work for others, but it wouldn't work for me. All the excuses and the explanations, all that's got to go. And you've got to become heart-centered, which is receptive, accepting, clearing space, shutting up. That's the energetic sense you want to build again. And again, a lot of people are heart-centered, so they are exhibiting 5D tendencies. The third one is the most important. The third aspect of fifth dimensional experience is unity consciousness. The journey to fifth dimension is not a personal journey. All right, it's a personal journey, but it's a personal journey with the point being to anchor your light, to add your light to the collective, to the unity consciousness. Unity consciousness doesn't mean we agree on everything, doesn't mean we all say the same things at the same time, doesn't mean we don't get maybe even pissed off with each other sometimes. That's not at all what unity consciousness is. Unity consciousness is a unity effort to work toward the higher collective ascension of humanity, to add your light to the higher light. I said earlier, I'm sharing this wisdom with you on one condition, that you use it to help other people. It is not a personal journey. Yes, it is. And yes, you will get all the benefit of being heart-centered and balanced and all that light and all that stuff. But if you're not doing it for a reason, if you're not doing it to add to the collective light, see, what we have to do is we have to kind of link arms and create a web of light. And this is why creating this web of light is so important. If you do this on an individual level, which I've been trying to do for many years, what you'll find is you'll get to a certain point and then you'll drop back down into 3D. And you say, well, that was really interesting. And you do it again a few days later and you drop back down. So what happens is there's a magnet. The third dimensional reality is a magnet that pulls you down. The collective unity consciousness serves as a magnet to pull you up. So as you journey up, if you have a force that's pulling you up, you can become more involved in that. If you don't have any force and you're just doing this by yourself and there's nobody there when you get there, you're going to go back down. So you're going to go back down anyway. Trust me. It's a whole process. It's not like all of a sudden, oh, wow, I'm staying in 5D for the rest of my life. It's a process. It's a journey. And it's a little bit at a time, day by day, week by week, month by month. But the point is to create a consciousness, a 5D collective that's pulling you up. So if you're doing this for yourself, like a lot of people will go through this, they'll come back on Discord, for a day or two, tell me about their progress, and then they disappear because they think if they missed a day, they don't want to tell anyone they missed a day. They don't want to, it's not your own personal journey. It's a collective journey. The only way we will ever experience the fifth dimension is in unity consciousness. It is a collective fifth dimensional experience. It's not a solo experience. And I've been studying enlightenment systems for decades. This is what they all miss. They all think that ascension is a personal thing. So these gurus would go live in a cave or live on a mountain or live in a temple or go on a vow of silence for 20 years. Because why? Because as soon as they start interacting with us regular people, boop, they drop back down into third D. They never occurred to them to bring everybody else with them. Right? I say, like, you're up in the mountain, you're enlightened. That's great. What about us down here? Can we have some of that wisdom? Can you help our situation down here? Because we got a lot of problems down here. So they have always, it's what's missing from all these systems is this unity consciousness, because there is no ascension without unity ascension. It's not a personal thing. It's a humanity thing. So trying to maintain, so a fourth dimensional awareness is endless power, source. And the way I experience it is in the fourth dimension, I can look down on my life. I can write my own plans. I can work on my character, values, and principles. I can be really patient. But what I enjoy most about the fourth dimension is the sun behind me, the light behind me, the source, because it's all coming from source that's just radiating abundance, light, energy, everything. I am the full power, the full light, the full energy of all of that higher dimensional stuff. And as soon as I'm back in 3D, it's like it all closes. And I no longer experience that because I'm trapped in these negative, dense energies. So the only way to draw yourself out is to draw yourself out, look down, try to improve yourself with new habits and new ideas and really new routines. Habits is the key. New habits. Work with the power of time to transform yourself over time into a healthier person, a happier person, a more stable and balanced person. And then just feel everything that's available to you, all that power and energy. And you take all of that source energy. And I'm going to teach you this planning tool. It's like you ever take like the sun and the magnifying glass and you could burn one little spot? That's how source works. It's everything, but you have to focus it. You have to turn it on to something. And it's this tool that I'm going to show you that will allow you to turn it on your health, to turn it on your relationship with your kids or your spouse, to turn it on your career. And now the power of source, not instantly, because universe doesn't work that way, but when you start planning and you plant those seeds day after day and you nurture them and come back to them, water them, They'll grow and change over time. That's how you transform yourself. And when you're in the fourth dimension, always remember you can only change yourself. And in the fifth dimension, remember whatever you do, you're doing for everybody else. You're doing to hold up your end of the bargain. You're part of the web of light. And the more work you do, the more you're holding up your end of the bargain, if that makes sense.